Good afternoon. This is Jessica from Twin Cities Media, and I'm sitting in here with Mike and Eddie from XIII Arrows. And this is our new segment called Track by Track, and just sitting down with bands and talking through the process of recording and each track and just kind of what it's all about. So I'm going to throw it over to them and let them introduce themselves.
How's it going? I'm Eddie, play guitar in XIII Arrows.
I'm Mike. I sing and I also play some rhythm guitar in XIII Arrows.
And who else is a part of XIII Arrows that isn't here with us today?
My brother Johnny Rickert plays drums, and
our buddy Harry on the bass. He's a butcher.
He's not here today. He's working.
Yep.
Awesome. Meat. Awesome. But yeah, so we're just gonna we just want to talk through. Their new EP is out this week, and they have a show coming up later in the week that we want to talk about as well. But I just want to dive in. So tell us about the EP. What can people expect? What's it kind of about? What was the recording process like for you guys?
Yeah, so the EP is something we're very excited about. It's the first thing we're sharing with the public, and it's kind of become a tool for us to promote and build hype around our first show coming up this Friday at 7th Street Entry. And I think the whole thinking behind it was we have more songs than what exist on the EP, but we really wanted to just get a few tracks out there for people to get a vibe of what we're doing, the different kind of sounds we're covering. And each track, I think, was selected very specifically to kind of showcase the different types of sounds that we bring to the table.
Versatility, yeah.
Yeah, like keeping it diverse and mixing things up from heavier, louder stuff to some softer, quieter stuff. And our kind of approach and strategy to the way we're producing and releasing music is to use the music as a tool to promote our shows. So after this gig, we'll probably go out, record one or two more tracks, and then just release it as kind of bite-sized content for people to always have something new to listen to.
And so how did you guys pick the songs to put on this EP?
Well, me and Mike were in a band for a couple years, and that ended, and we were kind of just kicking around because we knew that we had some really good songs, just no outlet to express those songs. So we would jam, and we eventually hooked up with my brother and Harry, and the four that are on the EP tended to be the ones that everybody kind of gravitated towards and played best on. So that's kind of how we ended up with those four tunes.
So you guys you're not on a label, so what was did you guys just make this in your garage? Did you make this at your house? Like, what was the recording and producing process like for this EP?
Well, one thing that I really love, I think that we as a band just love about the community in Minneapolis is we all grew up in the Twin Cities, and we have a lot of friends that are in bands, been in bands with us, or just hung out with and been playing shows over the years. And we hooked up with a very good friend of ours that I've known since I was like probably 12 years old or something, Dan Mariska. He has his own group, Dan Mariska and the Boys Choir, who are super rad. And he also does recording and production out of his basement in Minneapolis, right near the Minneapolis College of Art and Design. And so we hooked up with him, spent a couple weekends in his basement that we called the Rock Dungeon. And he kind of coached us through recording these songs and actually came in and did a little production and helped us shape the chorus on a song and make some creative decisions. And he's just great to work with. So it's a very fun process.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like we were actually recording, or it just felt like we were hanging out and relaxing. You know, we'd order pizza and just drink beer. And, by the end of the day, oh my gosh, the song's recorded. So it was really relaxing. And I think that's the way to go moving forward, at least for us as a group.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of who you're going to be working with? You had mentioned after the show, recording some more tracks. Are you going to work with the same producer?
Yeah. We don't have anything booked right now, any sessions, but I think that we loved working with Dan. Would love to continue working with him and kind of have a good structure for how we do sessions with him. And it'd be very easy, I think, for us, like Eddie said, relax, just go in, knock out a few tunes and drink a couple of beers and come out on the other end with some material.
Never a bad thing. Yeah. Never a bad thing with that. So I just want to dive in now to, it's a 4-track EP. What's the official name of the EP?
Self-titled, I think, just 13 Arrows. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So the first track off the EP is One Night Man. Eddie, do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Or
yeah, I wrote that one like 8-10 years ago, and it just never seemed to work with whatever band I was in at the time. Basically, I wrote that. I was living out in Boston, going to school there. And essentially, it's just about, everybody going out on the weekend partying and the walk of shame on Sunday morning. Well, it wasn't a walk. We'd have to buy a subway ticket back home because nobody could afford to actually live in the city. So every Sunday, we kind of just found ourselves licking our wounds on the train. But that's essentially what it was about. And finally, when we got together with these guys, it just seemed to work. So I'm happy with how it turned out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a rocker.
It's a fun one. It is fun.
Yeah.
So what is that like then? So, you have a song and you just kind of brought it to them and we're like, hey, let's revisit this or, re-record it, or, was it pretty much completely done?
Actually, there was more to it, and Mike was just like, no, get rid of that crap. And then so we kind of we trimmed the fat, and it works out really well. I think that was probably one of the first tunes that we decided that we wanted to focus on and complete.
Yeah, it was fun. It was like Eddie kind of came in, he's like, here's the whole song, and then together as a group we kind of were like, all right, let's simplify this, maybe cut this section out, move this here, and then like getting some of the intricacies, like, oh, when the intro comes in, Eddie's going to come in hot, and then we're all going to kind of trickle in and build this foundation together, and then just figuring out all those little details together is really fun, especially as a songwriter. I think it's cool to be like, oh, like here's how the song is in my head, and then you get together with 3 other guys and it becomes something different and usually much stronger, I think.
Yeah. And musically, it's pretty straightforward and accessible. Mm-hmm. When we were auditioning drummers and bass players, that seemed to be the first one that everybody kind of had in the pocket that we could play. And because it's so simple, each player kind of brings their own uniqueness to it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a rocker through and through.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think we kind of view it as the hit single right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good intro to 13 Arrows, would you guys say? Like, for people who haven't listened to you guys who are maybe listening to this, would that be the song to start with?
I think it encompasses the blues, the rock, the heaviness, the subtleties that, we can get quiet if we need to. There's a cool breakdown that Mike plays on, and he sounds good on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
So I guess maybe this is a hard question to answer, but like, how do you know when a song is done? Like, when is that moment when you're like, okay, this is complete?
Kind of just sick of recording it over and over. By the time, you get through that last take and everybody played well, we're just kind of like, okay, if we keep recording it, it's going to get watered down. And so I think actually the drum, the first take was the one that you hear on the record. And, if you get it the first time, you shouldn't mess with it. And I think we just knew at that point that we should just move on to the next song. Yeah.
Before, in the past, Eddie and I have worked with another guy who's a friend of ours, Noel Tate, who recorded some stuff with us in the past. And I think he had a good rule of thumb. It was basically like, first take, you're usually warming up. Second take, you typically nail it. Third take might be a little better, might be a little worse. And you don't really ever need to go beyond that, because if you have to, you probably just can't even play that song.
Right. Like, just leave it. If it's good, just leave it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now we're just going to go ahead and let's listen to a sample of One Night Man.
Tight tank top with your jean skirt on, and a knockoff purse. 1,000 faces looking back at me, but I see yours first. Smoke in a room, cloud your silhouette, and I wanna know more. So I jumped down off this old bandstand and across the floor. You got me rocking, baby, all night long. You got me rocking, baby.
So that was just a little listen of One Night Man from 13 Arrows. So that was really awesome, you guys. I think that's going to be a fun one to hear live down at the Entry this weekend. So we're looking forward to that.
Cool.
Thank you.
Of course. So next track we want to jump into is Looking for a Fight. So if you could just tell us a little bit about that. Again, the writing, whose kind of brainchild was this track?
Yeah. So I think the way that the song just came to the table was Eddie was like, "Hey, I've got an idea for a riff," and he showed it to me, and I was like, "That's fucking gnarly." But yeah, it was like,
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. I was like, "That's a badass riff. Let's turn this into like a whole jam." And then the riff kind of evolved into the verse, and then we came together on the chorus and kind of decided to break it up a little bit with how it kind of is a little bit more of a choppy thing. And then I think the build-up just came organically. We were just jamming on the song, and the breakdown just kind of happened, and the song pieced together really well. One thing that I thought was really shaped the song was when Eddie and I were recording the guitar parts together for the final production, and we just had this pedal board with like 150 effects or something, and we're flipping through, and Eddie's just playing the riff over and over, and all of a sudden we get to this one effect, and we're like, oh man, like that is the sound, like that's rad, and we kind of just rolled with it, and I think that really shaped the tone for the aggressiveness in the song.
Yeah, it definitely has, like I think I mentioned to you guys, like it has a heavier sound than probably any other track on the EP, would you say?
Sonically, yeah. It's funny because it is a blues lick. Like it could be on any Muddy Waters album, but It's just that we're playing it through Les Pauls, which is cool, but
so
it's
tell
definitely
us,
heavier.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
No, it's definitely heavier. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of a standout in that way. So tell us lyrically, where'd the lyrics come from?
So the lyrics for this song, the way that I've always thought about lyrics and everything just as an artist is you can say a lot of things, but it doesn't really mean anything until the end user listens to it and comes up with their interpretation. So I can give you our interpretations of what it's supposed to mean and the inspiration, but I think it's really interesting to just see what other people think it means. And because of that, I really like to create songs that could mean multiple things. And for this song, the obvious surface level meaning is it's like two drunk dudes in a bar and they get into a fight and it goes outside. But what the song's really about for me is like those two lovers who they go out, they get drunk, and they get in a fight every single time. And it's almost like before they go out, they know they're going to get in that fight and they want to get in that fight. And that's like kind of what gets them going. And then, so it's kind of a lot of sexual innuendos mixed with like bar brawl innuendos. And I think it's kind of up to the user what that means to them.
Right. Open to interpretation.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I think so. Well, let's take a listen to Looking for a Fight.
Tonight is the night. Think I'm looking for a fight. We've been drinking since noon down at the old saloon. I see you looking at me. Do you like what you see? How about we step outside? I'll cut you open wide.
So that was Looking for a Fight, the second track off of the EP from XIII Arrows. So also kind of a fun one that should be cool to hear down at the entry. So the third track off the EP is called Soldier, correct?
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about that one and the process in recording that for you guys and writing?
That one's all Mike, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this song, I think, I had this random chord progression, which is now the verse, and it was in a different format. And it was something that's one of those things, like every time you pick up a guitar, I feel like a guitar player has those couple things where it's like, all right, I'm warming up, feeling out this guitar to see what it feels like. This is my go-to couple things I'm going to test out. And the progression kind of walks all the way up and down the neck. So it's something I've just always played and messed around with. And then showed it to these guys. We changed it around a little bit and it became what's kind of now the verse in the song. And we just built it from there together, worked on the chorus. And then I think Eddie came up with the idea for the breakdown and the riff for the second half, which is just awesome because I think it took this kind of slow, pretty song and it just progresses into this like gnarly,
just ruined it.
Yeah. And I love how the song becomes something different in the end. And the lyrics, I think, for this one were super interesting because Johnny is a teacher, our drummer, and a student had submitted some idea for a project or something, and he came to us and he's like, hey, this kid just told me about this awesome like article they found about a Civil War soldier who was actually a woman who posed as a man so that she could fight alongside her husband in the war. And he was like, it'd be sweet to write a song about this. So he gave us the article, and I kind of looked at it and thought about like how that relates to what's going on today with a lot of people's like equality and identity and gender equality and racism and everything that's going on and what people are fighting for today and just identity and what that means to people. And it's not like a very specific detailed lyrics. It's kind of vague, leaving that kind of open to interpretation thing again. But that was where the inspiration came from.
Very cool. Wow. That's interesting. That's super interesting.
That's deep. Yeah.
That is deep. That's super deep. Because we were talking about it and we were like, maybe there's like a patriotic thing going on here.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's something like that's really important to these guys, but almost not opposite, but just a different, I mean, that equality and just very relevant for the season we're in. So
I think by default, it's very easy to write a song and be like, all right, love song. It's about a dude and a girl. And then, so it's kind of a challenge to us like, oh, let's write a song that's like maybe has something politically or something beyond just that man and a woman dichotomy.
Right. Awesome. Well, should we go ahead and take a listen to Soldier off of the EP? Soldier, the third track off of the debut EP from Minneapolis-based 13 Arrows. And now we just want to jump into the last song off the EP, which is called Land of 10,000 Lovers, which I must say, I think was my favorite. I don't know if
cool.
Yeah, I think it was my favorite on there. So can you guys tell us about this track?
Yeah, I think that this song is a great example of like the full collaboration style that we have as a group. I think the inspiration behind this track, starting from a lyrical standpoint, was very much about the idea of falling in love throughout life. Like you can fall in love with someone, more than one person throughout your life, and how that translates from one relationship to the next, and the comparison of this one to that one, and how conflict can arise from that. And so this one was very fun to bring in a female vocalist who's another friend of ours, Faith Boldt, and she came in, threw down some incredible harmonies. She's also featured on Soldier. And it was a lot of fun to kind of have that aggressive male voice balanced out with a soft female voice, and creating that relationship from a musical standpoint was very fun.
That's awesome. Is she going to be at the show with you guys this week?
She will be at the show. She also sings with the Crash Bandits, so
cool.
Who was on the bill as well. And so I think she's going to get up on stage.
Just keep her up there all night.
Yeah.
Just sing with everyone.
Everybody loves to work with her. She's just so nice and such a great singer.
Yeah, she came in and did everything in probably an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
She just killed it.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and take a listen.
Everything I said to someone else. Every signal sent was meant for someone else.
The Land of 10,000 Lovers, again off of the EP by XIII Arrows. So you guys have a show coming up this Friday, December 23rd, right before Christmas, down at 7th Street Entry. So tell us about how you guys are getting ready this week and what people can kind of expect from the show.
Well, we're practicing a lot.
That's good. That's always good.
It's going to sound really good. We've got the 4 from the EP that we're going to be playing, obviously. We've got quite a few other originals that we're going to play for you guys. A couple top secret covers. You'll like it. Yeah, we're excited for it. We're finally getting to share this with everybody. It's kind of been bottled up for a long time. I mean, me and Mike started this 12 months ago, probably. So it's been a long time coming, and we're really excited. So we're going to put on a really good show for you guys.
And this is the official release of the EP as well. So where can people grab a copy of the EP?
Yeah, so leading up to the show, we've been allowing people to just stream some of these songs through our Bandcamp. But on the 23rd, our music will become available like on all of your typical channels that you're listening, Spotify, iTunes, streaming services, wherever you're typically at, you'll be able to access it.
Awesome. Will you guys have hard copies for sale at the show?
We are planning.
We will.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Old school, if you like that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
A real release.
yes,
Yeah, maybe some 8 tracks.
cassette.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks. So you guys are obviously going to be headlining down at the Entry, but who else are you guys going to have along with you warming up the stage?
So the Crash Bandits, they're the guys who set up this show and were so nice to invite us to join them on the stage. So they're going to be playing right before us. Before that is a band called Kick. There's some more friends of ours that we've played some gigs with in the past. We're very excited to share the stage with them again.
They're good.
And yeah, great guys. They rock hard, so definitely hit that set. And then Wavy Maze is going to be opening up. They're another friend of everybody that's going to be playing that night. And personally, I haven't seen them before, so I'm very excited to see what their show's going to be like. They sound great from what I've heard, the recordings.
Awesome. So everybody get down there early and make sure.
And stay to the end.
Yes. Yeah.
Come early, stay late.
Yeah.
So where can people grab tickets to the show for this weekend?
Online on our Facebook page, there's a link to the 7th Street Entry website where you can get tickets, or you can just go straight to 7th Street Entry and get the tickets online there or at the door.
It's just $5, so.
Hey,
Yeah.
$5.
Yeah.
$5 well spent. I would imagine. So, well, thank you so much, you guys.
Thank
for
you.
Yeah,
coming
thanks for
in
having us, and thanks for letting us drink
Thanks,
your whiskey.
Twin Cities Media.
Of course, we're excited for the show, so it should
It's
be a
always
good
a
one.
pleasure.
So thanks again, everyone, for listening. This is Jessica from Twin Cities Media, and we're looking forward to chatting with you guys again soon.